Yeah, as some people have already started saying hello in the chat and just dropping where you're joining from today in the world. So we just invite everyone as you're coming in to say hi and share that. So, I'm Teo. So excited to be here with my colleagues to talk to you all about OctoStudio animations. I'm calling in from Cambridge, Massachusetts, from the Media Lab.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. I'm Eric. I'm a former member of the Scratch team. I'm Speak Visually on Scratch, and I'm now here at the Lifelong Kindergarten group at MIT working on the OctoStudio project. I'm so glad to be here with y'all.
And I'm Maren. I'm the learning resource designer for the Scratch team. And I've been having fun playing with OctoStudio, so really excited to jump in with you guys today and play around. I'm over in the Pacific Northwest at the moment, so just try not to be smoky. It's very smoky out here right now.
Stay healthy.
Yes. I appreciate so many folks getting up early, staying up late.
Yeah.
We've got a nice cross-section of folks from all over. Welcome.
Africa, Hawaii, maybe that's like the widest distance I've seen so far. Olá, Márcia do Brasil. So nice. So we'll let our friends keep trickling in, but we'll get started with the main theme of today. And we're just so excited to be doing this collaboration with Scratch, being able to share some about OctoStudio, and especially because we do have, some shared history and ideas. And so maybe that's where we can start. So for people who might not know, Scratch was created here at the Lifelong Kindergarten group that's part of the MIT Media Lab, and it was publicly launched in 2007. And now it's its own independent organization, but 3-ish years ago, October 2023, the Lifelong Kindergarten group launched a new creative coding tool called OctoStudio. And I want to give a little bit of context about why it was launched. At the time, it was, middle of lockdown, where many places around the world, kids were going to school from home, and in a lot of places, not from a computer, but from maybe like a shared family phone or tablet. So like I'm from Brazil, and that definitely was the norm. Like more than computers, a lot of families might have a phone or a tablet. And we've always had a lot of connections to educators all over the globe. And they started to ask us, how do I do creative coding while my students are home when they don't have access to a computer? And so that's some of the push behind our work with OctoStudio. We really wanted to create something for our very global audience of kids and of educators based on mobile devices, designed from the beginning for mobile devices. But we also have a lot of shared pedagogical ideas with Scratch, right? So this is like, just like Scratch, you can make any kind of project that you want around any kind of themes. That's very open-ended. It's visual block-based coding. You snap blocks together to create movement and interaction in your project. And it's really designed for kids to learn by tinkering and by playing around. There's no wrong way to do OctoStudio. There's no challenge for you to fail. You just have your ideas and work towards expressing them in this new media language, just like Scratch. A lot of people, I should have moved to the slide before, because a lot of people say, what are some of the similarities between Scratch and Scratch Junior? And yeah, Eric, I'm wondering if you want to chime in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people ask, well, so how does OctoStudio relate to Scratch? And I think it complements it really well. It's not a replacement at all to Scratch. Some people say it's kind of in between Scratch Junior and Scratch, which is to say, some of the blocks in OctoStudio may be a bit lower floor or easier to get started with. Like, for instance, we have a block that says jump, and you can jump. We have a glow, so maybe storytelling becomes a bit quicker and maybe a little bit easier. But it doesn't have some of the high ceiling, more complex features of Scratch. And so I've heard from many, many educators in the past 3 years that, oh, this kind of fits within that trajectory. And so that's really exciting to have this tool. Teo mentioned that we developed this to be used offline with that kind of audience. And so, yeah, it's fully available offline on mobile devices, but This is pretty mind-blowing. The entire app is 35 megabytes. That's like the size of like 6 or 7 photos, high quality photos on your phone. It's 35 megabytes. And so if you have limited internet or slow internet, just getting the app on your device is way more accessible that way. There's also, maybe Teo, you can talk about this, OctoStudio being sort of on mobile devices first, on cell phones and on tablets, opens up this kind of new way of creating where you're not so anchored or like tethered to your laptop on your desk. You could go outside and start creating. You could be taking photos of things. You could be recording the sound of the subway car or the birds in your backyard and like bringing in these materials in a way that's really exciting. So we kind of say you can bring in your physical world, but then maybe Teo, you could talk about how not only can you bring in your physical world, but you can also use OctoStudio to then connect to the physical world.
Yes, yeah. So one, it's the format, right, of a tablet or a cell phone, like Eric mentioned. It's a lot easier for you to be out in the world with it. And there's an activity that we do sometimes called Explore Your World, where we literally take people outside into like a park or something and have them take pictures and bring into project. You can also sort of embed this device into real world things. So we'll do some activities where it's kind of like making a diorama or a frame for a tablet or a phone, and the project gets to be like the interactive part of this physical craft. And then also, because it's on a mobile devices that come pre-built in with some sensors, we were able to create some blocks to take advantage of those sensors and to make really cool things. So it's really simple, for example, to pull out a tilt to move block, and now you've got like tilting your device to have your character move around the stage, or shaking to have something happen, or even turning the flashlight on and off. So many cool things related to the sensors. And there's a lot of similarities and differences. We'll have some time at the end for questions. We can keep talking about that. But right now I'm going to invite everyone to start to download OctoStudio if you want to join us making together in a few minutes. So OctoStudio is totally free. It's available on the Apple App Store and on the Google Play Store. It's also available on Chromebooks. And once you download it, you don't need any kind of account to use it. We don't do any kind of tracking, not even like analytics tracking. And you don't even need internet to use it, although presumably if you're watching us, you have some internet connection. But for the future, you don't need any internet to use it. So I invite you to download that. And meanwhile, we're going to start showing you some of the things that, today the theme really is about animation with OctoStudio, because this is a new feature we launched a month ago now, our most requested feature by a lot. And it's been like really, really exciting to see what people have already made with it. And so, yeah, we want to start sharing some of the possibilities in OctoStudio. So I'm going to stop sharing.
Cool. And maybe I will start sharing. Okay, cool. So maybe you all can see my screen. I think you can. Yeah, so Teo mentioned, we actually didn't launch with costumes and animations, and we took a long, long time to think about what's the best way we can do this. And to start, and just to give you a heads up, Teo and I and Maren, there's gonna be a ton of time to create. We're gonna share some demos, share some demos, create. So just to kind of give you a sense of what's about to happen for the next 50 minutes here. But I do want to start with a really exciting part of the app that not many people, I think, explore, pun not intended, which is the explore section. So this is like my projects that I've created. And if you hit explore, you can see all these inspiration projects. And we wanted to share a couple just to give you a sense of how costumes and animations work. So I'm going to open up this animated clay person. This is a project that Nora made in our team. They made a craft and took some photos and cut out the backgrounds. And you'll see something that looks familiar here. Set costume. So when I tap this character, I'll set the costume to the second costume right there. And then I'll wait 1 second, set it to the third costume, and then set it to the first costume. So you can see, oh, did it go? Let me tap it. Whee!
Oh, I love this project.
So you can also peek inside the block. So if I click 2 here, I can see costume 1, 2, 3. And so it's really easy to be setting costumes. You get the little thumbnail preview. Love that. And the when I tap is something that's also kind of unique to OctoStudio because, it's on mobile devices. So I think one of my favorite sort of event blocks is the when I tap. And of course, you can have parallel stacks here. I'm sure you all are scratchers. You already know this. But yeah, again, one thing that's really neat about this is a sort of a physical object that Nora made and just took photos of, which I think is really, really neat and definitely in the spirit of kind of OctoStudio. So that might seem familiar because it's very similar to Scratch, but I want to show you something that is really exciting and maybe a bit different than Scratch. This is using the Play Costumes block. So let's remind ourselves, last project, we used the set costume where we set to a specific costume. The Play Costume block, one of my new favorite blocks, it's just going to play all of the costumes for you. So if I click this, it'll run through all 4 costumes for us. If we open up the details here, we can say, okay, you know what? Maybe I don't want that last costume. So I'll hit this little eye icon and that hides it. Maybe I also don't want it to play the second costume. Oh, actually, that doesn't make sense, Eric. Let's just play all 4. You could also set the speed. So this is kind of a jaunt through the through the snow. This is me in Boston when I'm in the snow. I'm running real fast.
Eric, one thing, I don't know if it's just me, but your screen share looks maybe frozen. Okay, no, it moved. It did move. There we go. I wasn't sure if your screen share was frozen.
No, maybe the fox was just walking so fast. So yeah, you can set speeds using the tennis shoe here. And then, parallel stacks again. So when I hit the green flag, I want to play the costumes and I want to move. And then when I hit the edge, I'm not sure if this is a Scratch block, but we have this fun block here where you can say, when I hit an edge, I want that to trigger something. So it looks like when I hit the edge, I'm going to have it go to the next backdrop.
Wait, is Eric's screen moving? Like, is the fox moving? Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow, just for me.
Yeah, I'm seeing it great.
Okay.
All right,
cool.
good.
Okay. No, it's not. Oh, no, it's not moving for some people.
No, I think the no was for the audio.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay.
Carry on.
Carry on. Okay. The fox is moving through the different sort of backdrops. And then I want to share one more thing. It's really easy to swap sprites. And it's not only going to swap one costume, it'll swap all the costumes. So we have this fox walking. What I can do is, if I hit this button here, it's third. I wish I had a pointer here. It's underneath the pencil here in this menu. The circle and the square with the arrow, that button. I can choose a different sprite. Let's say, what else walks in the snow?
Polar bear.
Polar bear? Where's the polar bear at?
I'm sort of near the panda.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Polar bear panda.
Okay, so now let me get rid of that other fox. So we noticed when I swapped the sprite, it kept the code, and now the panda bear is walking. Let me do that one more time. Swap with something totally random. Swap again. Let's do the little tiger. So anyways, it's kind of neat. I like that it kind of brings over all the costumes as well. That's really adorable. If we wanted to add another backdrop here, we could go to the backdrops here, add another backdrop, maybe have it go in there. I want to try something. Just maybe I'll change the speed. I'll have it go really fast, and then I'll also have to play costumes go real fast. Yeah, cool. Anyways, also the backdrop transitions, you see that
around the world animations.
Yeah, so you see the backdrop block here. When I do switch backdrop, I can set a speed for that. They're going to have it fade, or I can have it instantly. Okay, this has been fun. I've gone over my time on my demo here, but that's a good sense of kind of how
Eric,
Yep.
One thing I just want to interject is that I think that note about it being a compliment, this has actually been a really good example of that, because here, the setting of the speeds feels very intuitive. Lightning bolt, I think, definitely implies fast movement, right? The speed of the shoe, you can see. That sort of lowers the floor, right, for folks trying to animate, as you noted, versus in Scratch, you might have to add some weights. You might have to play with how many steps it moves, so it's a similar idea, but maybe accomplished with a few fewer steps. Going to the edge and switching background, you can do it in Scratch, but again, like, it may be a slightly different way that you accomplish it. And so I really love that idea of this. First of all, I love the idea of this tiger moonwalking, but I also love this idea of just like having that little lower floor. And one other thing I'd point out is when you're looking at your blocks here, there's a lot of graphics. There's a lot of visual cues about what the thing is. And so for your emerging readers, I also feel like this is great because, Scratch Junior has practically no words. This is that sort of interim step between here and Scratch. You have a lot of sort of visual clues, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
good point, Aaron. Like every block has a unique color and icon combination. And we find that that's really, really useful for like pre-literate or early literacy uses.
100%.
And
Did
yeah,
we
if people
show?
have questions,
Oh, sorry. Did we show
um,
Teo and Eric how you can figure out if a costume has like walking legs or other things? So if I wanted to pick a character, what happens if I pick like a frog and it doesn't have that same walking motion? What would happen in that script?
yeah, that's a good question. I think that we'll get to like a way to see what costumes are available. I'm gonna do a little demo now too, and
Perfect.
maybe we'll come across that. So we'll hold on to Maren's question, like how do we see what costumes are available?
Because I
And
also
if
see a
people have
question in the
other
chat
types,
just about editing. We'll talk about that too, right? Editing of
yeah,
sort of
Yeah.
costumes, right?
Yeah, and there's no current way to
um,
paint a backdrop, but that's coming. Well, yeah, we have that on our list of things to do.
it's a very requested
It's a very
feature.
requested feature. That's
So I'll do a demo as well, so we can maybe get a little more into the new things we've added to the paint editor as part of this costumes and animations feature. So we'll go and start from a sprite, and I'm feeling very grateful and loving today. So I'm gonna pick this smiling heart emoji in a heart background. And if you go here from the pencil, we open the sprite palette, and then the pencil goes to edit the sprite. We also have our costumes UI here. And this is a costume that, as you can see, doesn't come, this is a sprite that doesn't come with any extra costumes. But we're going to make our own. And a thing that is really common to do when you're doing costumes and animations is to duplicate a frame. So this very top button here, the two shirts, that's the duplicate button. And now I have two identical sprites. And another really exciting feature in OctoStudio for costumes and animations is onion skinning right here. So if you do animations, you know what onion skinning means. But I'm going to demonstrate it. I'm going to turn it on. Right now, it doesn't look like anything. But if I start to move, for example, this heart, there's a transparent heart underneath it. And so what onion skinning is doing is it's showing us the previous frame in like a transparent way where things are. And it's really helpful for being able to do aligning of frames and like making sure the sizes are correct. So I duplicated that frame and I moved each of the hearts a little bit. I'm going to duplicate the second frame and move each of the hearts a little bit more. And then I'm going to duplicate that and move the hearts a little bit more. So now we can see that we have this progression of the hearts moving out. And I really want to maybe loop it back. So I'm going to duplicate some more frames, like this third frame, duplicate it. And I'm going to hold and drag to rearrange it. Now duplicate the second frame and do the same. Hold and drag to rearrange it. And now I'll save. And we can take a look at what our animation looks like now with the play costume block. So we just see the hearts going out and coming back in. That's really cute. I'm going to put that in a forever block. Maren, is there anything that do you have any ideas or like one little thing we could add to this or show?
Yeah, that's a good question. One thing I will note that had come up just right now in the chat, if you already had OctoStudio downloaded, make sure that you update, that's the word I'm looking for, your app so that you have these new blocks, because if you have an older version, you may not see these features yet that we're showing. So hit that update while we're playing. Let's see, play costumes. Sound is always fun, but I also like, the glow feature, because I think that's a unique thing that we don't have in Scratch in the same way. So yeah, and then when I shake is also fun. So yeah, let's bring in all these new fun additionals.
So yeah, we were mentioning that one of the differences is sensor. So let's try out the shaking, and yeah, this is the glow block here. Kids love glow. I wanted to glow maybe like an aqua color. Yeah. So every time I shake it, or I can also make it glow maybe a random color using the dice. Every time I shake it, it's a new random color. Nice. So yeah, feel free to keep dropping questions in the chat. Let's see. We're going to share our prompt. So we're going to start our like creating together time. And the prompt for today is create something unexpected or silly or surprising. We find that like the animations block is really helpful for projects like this. So very open-ended, play around along with us and just see what sort of unexpected or surprising thing you can come up with. We have this Padlet, which is just a place that we can share our projects to, and we can see each other's projects. We're going to do a little demo of how to upload a video of your project to Padlet as well. But if you want to, save this link or this QR code, we'll bring it back, but just giving a preview that we'll have a place to share our projects. And hopefully if people can make something now alongside us, put it on the Padlet, we can do a share out from there too. But for now, we're gonna, keep making things together. So let me stop my share.
Cool. You want me to maybe I'll start working on a little project, share with folks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see what else.
Give me 1 minute. My thing got the moonwalking tiger was too cool and disconnected my so you'll just bear with me for a minute.
Well, thanks, Maren, for sharing the link in the chat.
Yeah, I think one of the differences for anyone who's familiar with Scratch is there's not like a community feature here with OctoStudio. So, on Scratch, when you want to share with someone, you would often share, click the button to share the project. It's available on the web and people can access it and comment, things like that. This being lightweight, and having you guys had, a different set of sort of priorities or what you wanted to accomplish with this. There are options to share GIF and video versions of your project. So if you want to share it with grandma, or the kids want to share it with grandma, or you want to share it with colleagues or whatever, there's a really easy way to do that from inside the app, and it allows us to do things like share here in this Padlet, so we can kind of inspire each other, which I really appreciate, because I know for me, like, one of the things is I love getting inspired by all the ideas I see in the Padlet, and then also being able to see inside and figure out how to tinker and tweak. So yes, I love that. Please share in the Padlet even if it's just a starter idea. Like, I also think that that's one of the things, this doesn't have to be polished and perfect as you're playing along with us here. I think sometimes just like a little starter idea can really inspire others to put their own spin on it, right?
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks, Maren. Maybe I'll start working on a project. I got this little friend that sits on my desk with me, a little beaver. So maybe we can make something unexpected happen with OctoStudio. So maybe I'll screen share, see if it works this time. Share my window, share my audio in case we're going to do audio. Okay, can folks see that, hopefully?
Looking good, Eric.
Okay, you see, okay, great. Okay, so I'll make a new project. And then to choose a sprite, let's take a photo of our little friend here.
Oh my God, so cute.
Get him Okay. Oh, geez, it wants to tip over, which is kind of hilarious. I really do want to get him propped up. Okay. So I'll go ahead, take a photo. Look at his little ears. It's got the cutest little ears. Okay, anyways.
So tiny.
Okay. So I'll take a photo. Okay, and then in OctoStudio, you can take a photo and then you can draw around what you want to keep. So I'll see if I can get a nice little cutout. Really doesn't need to be perfect here. Okay, looks great. And then let's choose a backdrop. Maybe, I don't know, the rainbow backdrop. I always like that one. Cool. So what unexpected things should we do? Maybe we give it some emotions. So maybe it's like tongue can kind of stick out when we shake. So I will go to edit my sprite. So I'll click the pencil icon. Oh, okay, and you notice it's really big. So I'll just pinch to zoom out here, 2-finger pinch. I'll grab the bounding box here in the corner. I'll shrink it down. That looks good. And then Teo introduced this idea of the double sort of t-shirt in the top left here to duplicate your costume. And then I'm not much of a illustrator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a tongue emoji. So I'll actually use the text tool, the T tool, the text tool. And I will look, I will search for tongue. Okay, I will grab that. So this is actually text and I will put it right there. Oh my gosh, perfect. Okay, so we see we have costume 1, costume 2.
It's perfect.
With my favorite little best friend stuffed animal. I'll make it a little bigger. And then you all know the drill here. So when I start the project, I'm going to set the costume to tongue not out. And then when I shake the iPad, I will set costume to number 2. Maybe I will wait 1 second and then I will set it to costume 1. Let's do a full screen here. 3, 2, 1. Nice. Okay, cute. Very, very cute. Let's do it again. Sorry, that was
very
just
cute. Yeah, we gotta do it like a few times.
Yeah. Okay. So love it. Okay. Oh, it's stuck with his tongue out. Interesting. I noticed, Teo, that your emoji had some like blush on the cheeks. So maybe I'll add another costume with like blushing cheeks. So
that's really adorable. Yeah.
Maybe I'll keep it. Okay, yeah. So I'm just going to duplicate the first costume here. It's a costume, and I can pull it down. Oh, I can't pull it on this version of the app. I must have an older version of the app.
Try to hold it a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, just kidding. You got to hold it longer than you think.
Yeah, it's like a wait and it hold and turns purple, and now it's reorganized.
Okay. See, I'm glad I attended this webinar. I'm learning things. Okay.
We used to have the sensitivity pretty low on the reordering, but as people are scrolling, they were accidentally moving them around. So we made it so you have to hold it for a second.
Gotcha. Okay.
Modeling troubleshooting.
I know. Yeah, that wasn't rehearsed. I literally was like, why isn't that okay? So, so what I want to do, and stick with me here, I want to take one element of another costume and bring it onto this beaver. So I want to bring just the blushing cheeks from that other emoji. So what I'll do is I will hit the costume, the t-shirt plus button right there, and I'm going to add an emoji. So this just adds one costume. Okay.
And this goes back to Maren's question too.
Please, Teo. Yeah. Say more.
It goes back to Maren's question about like, how do I know which emojis have a walking animation, for example? So when you're adding a costume from inside of a sprite, that's when, and you go on the emoji, this actually is showing all the costumes for the emojis. So you can see that the smileys and the hearts, they don't really have built-in costumes, but if you scroll down to like the people who are in motion or the animals, those tend to have the built-in costumes now.
Yeah,
but you can see which ones are like moving animations versus other types of animations. from here.
Yeah, so this is every costume across all the sprites. So I will grab.
And just to note, the little kind of diamond or triangle we see in the corner, that indicates that there are different like flesh tones or other, right. So that's what that is showing.
Yep. So if you click this person, you can see, as Maren mentioned, the different skin tones of the people emojis there. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I want to take this, this, no, not the smiley face, this little gradient here. So what I'll do is I'll hit the copy button, which is on the right here, the two little squares. Then I'll go to my costume 3 and then hit the clipboard paste. And then I will.
This is like such an advanced tip, I feel like, but it's so much fun to take things from other sprites and add them in and remix them. Yeah.
So maybe it's a bit of an advanced thing. I do like kind of remixing artwork, and I don't need this. I don't need costume 4 anymore. So I'm going to delete it. I'm going to hit in the top left, there's a t-shirt with a trash can. I'm going to hit that. I'm going to do that. I just wanted the artwork. And it would have been way easier to kind of just take the little paint thing and do a blush that way. But I wanted to go the extra mile because that does look really cute. Yeah. I mean, it looks really cute. So,
and I think, for someone who's maybe not as artistically inclined, aka me, I do one of my favorite things, whether it's Scratch or OctoStudio, is to take pieces from different costumes and sort of mash them together into something new and interesting. So I love that this, even though it feels like an advanced tip, it also kind of lowers the floor in a different way.
Yeah,
like,
it's true. Different way. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. So when I tap, let's set it. I think it's costume 3 is our blushing costume. And then I'm going to steal some code. I'm going to long press this, duplicate it, which gives us the wait 1 second return. So ready, 3, 2, 1, tap. Very cute. If I shake.
So cute.
Yeah, those are very kind of fun, unexpected things from our little stuffed animal buddy there. Okay, I will stop screen sharing.
I want to add the blush to every picture of somebody that I pull into OctoStudio.
Okay.
I also want to just say, nice job, Eric, for coding on the fly, because that's always a little intimidating in these sessions. But I think it also shows that, you just poke around sometimes. You just hit things, you figure out what buttons do. That's part of the fun that I love about exploring OctoStudio is I can just sort of go in and maybe I don't have a really solid idea. Maybe I just start poking around and I find something that inspires me, or I look at what my neighbor's doing. We looked at what Teo was doing with the blush inspired you, right? And so I love how these things just sort of come together organically as you're playing around and touching buttons. And I will say I also really love that feature of being able to outline your object to bring it in, to make it really easy to just to pop something into your project. I always tell the story that my daughter used OctoStudio when we would travel on planes because we weren't going to pay for Wi-Fi, so she would take our device because she'd get bored watching the movie or whatever, and she'd just take pictures outside the window. She'd take pictures of us in our plane seat, and she'd just make something creative and goofy and really fun. And then we kind of had a little memory, a little memory of our travels, right, in the end, because she brought it into OctoStudio and made it into some sort of goofy little animation. So,
like really travel journaling in OctoStudio.
Yeah,
really nice. Okay, well, maybe now I'm going to do a quick demo of how to share a project on Padlet, and then Maren and Eric and I can do some co-creating while y'all are uploading things to the Padlet. So let me first share, let's see, this. Great. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, do y'all see my screen, my tablet screen? Yeah.
Sorry. Yes.
Yes. Okay, good. The first thing I'm gonna do is open the Padlet link, so you can scan the QR code. There's also a link in the chat if you're joining the chat from the from your device. And so now I just have that open there. I'm gonna go back to OctoStudio, and I'm gonna go to this project that we just made together. And here at the top left, near the home button, is where the share menu is. So I tap that. And like Maren said, you can record a video, you can record a GIF, you can send the project file too, so that if you send the project file to somebody, they also have OctoStudio. They can open that project, remix it. They can, if there's interactive elements like shaking or tapping, they can do that in OctoStudio. But for sharing our projects on the Pilot, I think a video is a good place to start. So we'll record a video. We'll start the recording. Here's our animation. And then I'm gonna save it. I'll save it just to the photos on the tablet. We use these tablets in workshops, so if there's weird photos here, I blame the children. So we have that video saved in our library, and then we have the Padlet link. You can go on post, and then the like uploady looking one. I'm gonna go to the photo library and pick that one. You can upload the OctoStudio file as well. But just instead of going into the photo library, you're gonna save it to your files on your device, and then go look for it in the files when you open up that upload button on Padlet. Yeah, and now that video is shared, and you can add whatever kind of like information. It's really cool that Maren, for example, added some screenshots of inside her code, so you can really see how she built out this project. Great. So that's sharing to the Padlet. If there's more questions, please feel free to say something in the chat.
I just love the, people pointing out like some of the great features, like we were talking about, like for those artsy loving kids, and even those who are artistically challenged like me, in terms of drawing, free drawing, the options that are available to you there. And also just the note that somebody said this looks great for neurodiverse learners. Absolutely.
Yes.
I really love
I
that.
wanted to touch on that because it's not that we set out to design it specifically for neurodiverse learners, but I think that there's a lot of creative learning ideas that just resonate, right? Like a big one is that you can make projects about anything that you're interested in. And that's like a big way to engage neurodiverse learners is to bring in their interest into their creativity into what they're learning. I think a second one is that, and this is similar to Scratch, there's not a wrong way to do something, there's not a way to like get a big red scary error message that you coded something wrong. The code might not do what you expected it to do, but that really just invites some troubleshooting and some debugging, which are important skills as well. It's not this like shaming thing.
And I love that there's like the different debugging challenges that being on a tablet and having slightly different, the blocks works in some cases slightly different than Scratch. Like it makes me sort of, even ideas that I might have developed like in Scratch or Scratch Junior, I love that it makes me think about how would I remix this in a different way with the blocks that are available, here, what would I change? Because I think sometimes we get really precious about what we create and we think it's, maybe perfect and done, but when you have to approach it from a different angle, or you can add in new elements like these elements using the device, it makes you have a whole new vision of what you're creating. So I kind of also love to go back and forth sometimes with my projects that I created maybe a long time ago in Scratch and see if I were to recreate these in this mobile experience with these different sets of features, how would I approach that? We had a question, is it available? So it's available on Chromebooks, but is the functionality the same as the tablet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can go ahead and share that. Yeah. So that's a great question. The answer is kind of. Yeah. So the functionality, all the blocks work, but how you can interact with some of those blocks is different. So instead of like tilting your Chromebook back and forth, we have what's called a sensor fallback, and it's a little joystick. So you can see it in the bottom left there. When you pull the joystick to the left, your character goes to the left. When you pull it to the right, it goes to the right. And then the shake button, the shake sensor is now a button. So the button will appear on screen. You can see that in the bottom left here. And then the same with the magnet function. Instead of putting a magnet over your device, there's a magnet button that will pop up. And then beam also works. So you can use Bluetooth to beam to a Chromebook. But like if you make a project on your mobile phone or a tablet, it can still work on Chromebook. So no blocks are hidden, just how you interact with it changes.
And I will say after the session today, we'll send out a replay of this along with some link to some resources. And if you're not familiar with Beam or the magnet, like Eric was talking about, there's a really great resource that has lots of information. You guys have a lot of great videos. So we'll send you links to get to all those things so you can really like dive into the weeds on some of these things. There was also another question for you guys about how long the Padlet will stay open. If people have projects, if they're sort of working on them, but they're not quite ready to share here in the next, 20 minutes or so, will this remain open? And is maybe also just, is there a way to communicate with you guys if people have feedback or questions after today? Where can they find OctoStudio to sort of learn more?
Yeah, great question. So the Padlet will stay open and available for you all to share projects on any day that you want. It might be like a good thing to bookmark if you later want to get some inspiration, for example, for animation-related projects. Anything that's shared in the next 8 minutes, we're gonna try to share live as well, do like a share out of the things that we've made. Other good places to stay in touch, send us a question, are through our social media, which we'll share some slides, so you don't need to write everything down now. But we're OctoStudio app on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You can also email us at educator at octostudio.org. And again, we're going to have slides with this. And finally, you can join our educator mailing list where we share updates, upcoming events, new features, things like that.
Do you mind, Teo, if I share something that I worked on?
Oh, please.
Please.
So my family really loves to play Yahtzee when we get together, but we don't always just have dice on us. And so for some reason, when I saw these costume changes, the first thing I thought of was like rolling dice. And so here's my little starter where I sampled. You can see here when I go into the sprite that I just made my own dice. There are some dice available, but I really wanted this forward-facing view. So I just made my own dice costumes, which is pretty easy. If the dots aren't spaced perfectly, it's because I did them by hand, right? And then
I was going to say that it looks like you spaced them so perfectly that I was like, how did you even do that?
I did my little chunky fingers, just like worked really hard to get them spaced. And then when you tap it, because I love that tap feature, it just rolls the dice. And then if you tap it again, it rolls it again. Cool. And you'll see that all I'm doing is really using, there should be a little bit of a sound too that plays. I'm talking, so maybe it's quiet. The nice thing is that the set costume, I can set it to random. So that makes sense for dice, right? To have it be this random costume change instead of something that's fixed. So when I click into here, you can see that that's the option I've chosen. And then that inspired me to sort of go further. So I saved that copy, and then I made a more complicated one with a cup here for my Yahtzee, where now I've gone a little bit above and beyond. And it rolls the dice, it sort of puts them up top so you can see the selection you have. Maybe I'll put the 3 back in the cup and try to roll it again. True to Yahtzee, I have 3 rolls that I can accomplish. That didn't help me. Let me roll one more time. Well, that was my end result from the 3 rolls. Now I have to decide what to do with it. But at the end of my 3 rolls, it sort of starts over. So now we're getting into concepts like, I have my roll counter here. I've tried to think about options about, well, when do I want to be done with the roll? Maybe I should have
Mhm.
stopped ahead. Oh, look, I still got 3 threes and 2 fives. So I'm going to say
Nice, a
done.
full house.
Yeah. So I'm able to does it look frozen on your screen or is it still going on your screen? I don't know. Let's see if I back
It
out.
went on my screen.
Okay, good. So, this is obviously a much more complicated version. Instead of having costumes now, I've broken up the dice into, or I have, each dice has a costume, but I have now multiple dice that I'm working with. And I had to make them select, individually. But here, now I can have this interface. So when we're on a plane, when we're, out at a restaurant,
Mhm.
when we're someplace where we just need to kill some time and people are feeling bored, I have this opportunity to sort of either play with this game that I've created, or I can keep coding on it and keep adjusting it and making it, exactly what I want. I've repurposed the cup to our point earlier about remixing things, and use some of the dice that were provided. So just wanted to show kind of a variety there, just lots of different options that you have when you're creating. And I love, you guys went with animation, storytelling. I decided to create a game. You could create a story, right? That's
Mhm.
that's happening on the side. So lots of different ways depending on what you're interested in to engage with this.
I really love this idea of like OctoStudio as a platform to make your own little games like you just recreated Yahtzee. And I feel like, yeah, this costumes and animations is a game changer in terms of like lowering the floor for that. Cause yeah, you just reminded me that I wish I had it on this tablet, but I made like a categories clone. And if anyone hasn't played categories, a big part of it is getting a random letter. And so like it was so easy to make, a sprite with 26 letters and pick out a random one using this feature. Yeah. There's a good question here from Julie about more resources. So
Oh,
beyond
yeah,
cards and videos. So maybe I can share a little bit about how to get to that from on our website.
yeah. Or I'm happy. Yeah, please go for it. Yep.
Um, Yes, if you go to octostudio.org, you can go to learn. We have some learning resources here. So create a creature, make a tilt game are some really good getting started activities. And if you click into that, you'll see that they have, accompanying videos, educator guide. There's some activities across subject areas too, like bring a book to life connects a lot to literacy, inspired by art, creates a lot to like visual art and making. We have these 3 activities that we made in collaboration with National Geographic, which are all around themed with connecting with the natural world and developing a curiosity about the natural world. And if you tap into them, again, you'll see we have slides, an educator guide that makes curriculum connections, student handout, coding cards, and an explorer profile. This is part of our collaboration with National Geographic, but we tell the story of an explorer who's doing just cool things out in the world. And finally, on our YouTube page, we have, I don't think it'll share that tab actually, but I don't know, we have like 100 tutorials. How many, Eric, do you
A
think?
lot. Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot.
so many tutorials. So it's a good place to go for inspiration.
One other thing I will mention that's slightly different than with Scratch, with Scratch, one of our community guidelines is to keep personal information private because, you are sharing out on the larger web. But here, since there's not that external piece of it, you can bring in pictures of your face and animate yourself doing, goofy dances. You might, give yourself a little cut out your head, do a little stick body and make some different costume changes based on that. Or you could use the remix the sprites that are already there and switch out their head for your head or something. So I also think that that's kind of fun that you can bring yourself in, and then of course just be mindful of who you're sharing your videos with, right? Because we always love data privacy, but I think that's a really fun feature that you And I know that we've brought in and made many an animated card for grandparents using those features.
We love making animated cards.
Oh, hey, we got some projects.
Yeah. Should we peruse?
Yeah, let's do it. So we got about 10 minutes left. Yeah, we can check out some projects.
So Misty, oh no, this was me.
I was like, that looks familiar.
Shared this project. No. Marisa shared this project, Marciano em Argentina. So an ET. Oh, we see the
Oh, I don't think we see it. Maybe it's in a different tab.
Oh, that's true. Let me try to share my whole window. Everyone gets a behind the scenes look. So this is Marisa's project, Marciano em Argentina. Nice.
Oh, I love it.
So you see the cloud has like a weather animation at the beginning. And it looks like you changed the UFO emoji around too, like made it a little bit different shaped. And added the purple color.
We gotta get the moonwalking tiger up there with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Coming up next.
Love it.
Moonwalk. What else do we got? Dina. Oh, what is
that's
this?
spam.
Oh. Find the cute stuffy. So I grabbed the Hello Kitty spam.
Amazing. Oh my god.
Oh, and it's a little. Did you record this yourself? You hear the song?
No, I think you're muted, Teo. The screen share is muted.
Why? We gotta hear it again. 1 second. Also share audio.
I love the creativeness. Use what's around you, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I still don't hear it for some reason. Well, people can go to the Padlet and listen too. It's a good invitation to the Padlet.
It sounds like a self-recorded ukulele song.
Whoa! Oh my gosh, it is. Wow.
Here's oh, El Taller de Ada.
Wow.
During the course we worked. The types of stress. Whoa. The types of stresses I see. So they're saying this is the type of structural stress in practice.
Oh, I see. Wow.
Very cool.
Very cool.
So you use OctoStudio to create visual.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, it really can connect with so many different sort of subject areas.
I love the little dancing feet. And it looks like, yes, it was an original ukulele song.
Yeah. Wow. Well, we're right on time. I mean, people can continue to share. Then if people have questions, I think we did want to spend at least 5 minutes if folks have questions about OctoStudio. Any questions?
And meanwhile, I will share a few more things. So
sure, yes, please.
We do have a reference guide for OctoStudio, so it kind of just breaks down every element of the UI and the coding blocks, so you can go to it using this QR code. It's also on our website. And you know, OctoStudio is really designed for it to be learned by tinkering and playing around with it. So it's not that we recommend giving this resource to your students or something like that as a way for them to learn OctoStudio, but it is a great place to go if as an educator you're playing around with it and you have some questions about how things work. So it's been updated to include all of this new stuff around costumes and animations. So you don't need to like frantically take notes on this webinar or anything like that. You can refer back to a reference guide. And like I said before, I was going to share our social media. So you can follow us on OctoStudio app and also tag us if you ever make something and you want to share with us. You can tag us and we see basically like every project that people tag us in. And then this is the QR code to join our newsletter, which we don't send very frequent emails, really just when we have something exciting to share. And yeah, the mailing list, YouTube. What else? Let me go back to the chat and see.
I'm so grateful that you guys let me join you today, because I had a lot of fun creating with these blocks. And I will say that it definitely, I'm excited that you've added this feature, because it was something that I think was a difference from scratch that I'd sort of struggled with, being able to figure out how to position the costumes when I wanted to switch, creating a new sprite, making sure it was the exact right place, right? So again, you've just sort of lowered that floor and made that process even smoother, which I so appreciate. You're getting lots of excitement in the chat. We're going to make some goofy animations of all of our siblings. I love that. And just really helpful to see the demos. Yeah, I agree. You know, I always find myself inspired once I leave here, and I loved seeing the different types of things that were created today, from Eric's cute little beaver that we then remixed, that added more costumes to. That was such an easy process. To then drawing your own. I mean, that's the other thing, right? Like you can create your absolutely own unique thing if you really want to draw with your finger. So I definitely challenge you to try that, like I did.
Maren, you inspire us, really.
Yes,
Like, you are so thoughtful, not just about like the apps and the features, but also like the community around it, how people are going to be using it and what they want to know and what's going to be exciting for them. So it's just been like so much fun to collaborate on this.
Thank you.
Like
I said, I think it's also great. There's some different debugging challenges when you are sort of switching mediums. So if you're familiar with Scratch, I think you'll find some new blocks. So definitely like kind of scroll through all the categories, check out the new things, and look at their resources to see what this beam and the magnet's about, because I know we won't have time to get into it right now, but those are fun features. So I'll just like do a little plug for poke around, see what's there.
Cool. Can I do a little 30-second project to share thank you? Okay.
Oh, yeah, please.
It's going to involve the stuffed animal. So it won't be using costumes animations, but it's going to use the shake block. And its little satchel here actually is a really good cell phone holder. So what I made here is, when I shake, it's probably hard to see, it says thank you for coming.
I can see
so what I do is I'm gonna kind of like put the phone in its little satchel, its little tail.
You were talking about how you can infuse it into physical things. Here we go.
Yeah, and then so if I shake it,
thank you for coming.
So now you have your own little talking.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, so cute.
Thank you for coming.
So anyway, yeah, it's been a blast. Thank you all so much for coming, and Maren for letting us collaborate with the Scratch Foundation on this webinar. And really excited to see what you all continue to create.
Yeah, definitely. We'll make sure that the link to the Padlet is in the wrap-up email, which will probably go out either later today or early tomorrow, in case you missed any bits and you want to sort of circle back. You'll have all the links to their resources and their contact info. And yeah, thanks for playing with us today.
Thanks so much, everyone.
Bye. See ya.
Have a good rest of your days.